thinking ahead, and when you think of the Knicks of the past, you think of somebody who's trying to take a big swing, like all the time, like trying to get a big name. We haven't heard much of that recently, but how motivated do you think the Knicks front office is to like use some of the extra picks that they have and like movable pieces to upgrade the roster like soon? What are your thoughts on that?
We'll define upgrade the roster because there are different levels of upgrading the roster.
Sure, like a meaningful, like, hey, now the Knicks are in a new tier because they've made this deal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've been waiting on. So I think there's a ton of urgency to make that. I also think the organization doesn't expect a player of that level to become available until next summer, the earliest, whether it's Joel Embiid or somebody else. But I mean, look, like we keep talking about, is Joel Embiid going to be available? And you keep wondering, okay, if Joel Embiid wants out, might he want the Knicks? There are all these murmurs that he might want the Knicks if he wants out. But right now he doesn't want out. He loves the idea of, having a single team legacy. He loves Philly. He loves the Sixers. Meanwhile, the Sixers have the best record in the conference right now. He's playing as well as he ever has. Why are we so convinced that that Embiid is just going to say that he wants out after this year? That team's still good, and they're going to have some flexibility. So I don't know who it's going to be. There's always some star who becomes available. It's the NBA. But I think they're more anticipating that happens next summer. That being said, I'm keeping my eye on the Raptors, who no one knows what the hell no one ever knows what the Raptors are going to do, because they'll call you up. They'll be like, hey, we're thinking about shopping this guy. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, give us 2 seconds. Let us talk and we'll call you back. And you call them back. And then they're like, what are you talking about? That guy's not available. And then the next day they'll be like, oh, were you still interested in this guy? We're just circling back. And they'll be like, what? You said he's not available. And they're like, no, he's available now. Then call back and be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But can you send us your Netflix password along with 17 first-round picks? And they're like, my Netflix password, that's also my Gmail password. I don't want you getting into my email. And this is how it tends to go. So Siakam's an upcoming free agent, and OG Anunoby's an upcoming free agent. And I know the Knicks and people in that front office have really liked OG Anunoby for a while. I know that they called Toronto about him leading into last year's trade deadline. I know they made an offer that was like a real offer, and Toronto was like, no. And so as they were with other teams, like Toronto has gotten real offers for OG. And I also know that Toronto, as we've seen with Kyle Lowry, as we've seen with Fred VanVleet, Toronto, even if the team is totally unremarkable, Toronto is willing to be like, nah, we'll just let you walk. Just go away. You can go. So maybe that happens with Anunoby or Siakam. I don't know. I have no idea, which is exactly why I'm keeping an eye on that team in particular, especially because I know the Knicks like Anunoby, and also like that's the dude who, amongst non-star caliber players, like that is the dude they need. They need someone who can guard big wings, can play the 3 and the 4. Randall is their only real 4. Gives them extra size. They have a bunch of guards 6'5" and under. It gives them size, gives them strength, gives them a little creation off the dribble, gives them a real one-on-one defensive presence with size. Like that is a great fit for them. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. But for now, it's just like legitimately me keeping an eye. There's nothing there.